Well, for those of you who are not familiar with this unit, we've sold over 1 million of them in Australia in the last 11 years, maybe 12 years. And they're quite different to a diffuser. So for many of you who may not be aware what NatureX is all about, we manufacture a range of air purifying and odor control products and cleaning solutions that is a French formula. And as Chris was saying, our essential oils that we use in these products are incredibly pure and amazingly sourced by our scientist in France. He's based in Provence, which is, of course, the capital of essential oil distillation in the world. But the unit here shows you what it looks like. It's a pretty well-established fact that often the indoor air is more polluted than anything outside. It also really can trigger many allergies and asthma, headaches, everything really. But it has a lot of benefits. Now, the one you're looking at right now, you'll see the unit there. It's a small unit, probably about maybe less than 30 centimetres across. It has a max line. It's actually a cold water humidifier. It's actually also designed, it has a particular white noise that's particularly effective for sleep because the white noise is actually under 60 decibels. Now, I'm going to just tell you a bit of a story about this. When we first released this, probably about 11 years ago now, maybe 12 years ago, we had somebody in WA selling 40 and 50 at a time. Now, we actually thought they were selling them at eBay, so I thought, what the hell's going on over there? So we contacted this person. It turns out she was a pediatric sleep specialist called the Good Night Nurse, and she was selling them to her workshops by the dozen for people who had young babies who really had to get to sleep. So the features of this are, it's a cold water humidifier. It's got an attendance light on it. It's not a night light. Lights are only needed by the parents who think that babies and children need them. It's just an attendance light if you need to actually check in on a baby or perhaps an elderly person. It's also a warm light, so it's orange, which of course is sleep-inducing as well. So what you would do in a bedroom, of course, or where you're sleeping in particular, it works especially well in a bedroom, probably about maybe 3-4 meters square, and maybe a bit more. Shut the doors and windows, turn it on. This particular one at the moment in front of you, you can see two of the formulas. One is an Enviro Air, which is a regular fragrance, which has 8 essential oils in it. And the hypoallergenic one, I'm just going to quickly bring this across so you can see what this is about. There are flyers available for you. I'll try to see if I can bring that across. No. Come across here. There we go. Right. Now, these are the essential oils. So the Enviro Air, they are 100% organically sourced essential oils. They are what they call indigenously sourced as well. So, for example, our scientist only sources them from the country where they're actually native to the country. So, for example, the vanilla, he sources from Madagascar only. The lavender, he only sources from, which is in one of our other products, in our sleep product. He only sources from Provence. The level, as Chris was saying, their level of focus that he gives to basically farming with these essential oils. So it has to be grown 1,000 metres above sea level. It must be harvested when it's no higher than 30 centimetres. It must be grown in cork soil. And that's the level to which he goes to. So the eucalyptus comes from northern Tasmania. And it's incredible that the level he goes to source these oils. They are incredibly safe for babies and children and, of course, animals as well, because they're coated by this incredibly scientifically formulated emulsifier, which is made from the castor bean. So the hypoallergenic formula is made of 6 essential oils. These are the only essential oils that are considered to be hypoallergenic by the International Fragrance Association, IFA, of which Dr. Eric Venturelli is actually on the board of that in the EU. So it's an incredibly powerful formula. The hypoallergenic ones are kind of woody fragrance. The Enviro Air's got that mint thyme fragrance as well around it. So incredibly safe. On top of that, we've also got our sleep formula. Let me see if I can find that for you as well, because I've got several of those. My page is open at the moment, so bear with me. Come on, here we go. Right. So,
Jeanette, I've also heard that when you have this running in your house, it can actually minimise how much dusting you need to do on your furniture. It draws all the dust out of the environment.
Yep. So what it does, it's designed to attract and trap formula stuff out of the air. So unlike a diffuser, which is actually intended to put things into the air, the revitalizer actually attracts and traps, and it's actually the formula that does the work. So the machine is simply the vehicle for the formulas. So what would happen, you would put a capful of the formula into that white machine you can see on the screen at the moment. You're looking at the 2 sleep formulas, one for children, which is safe for children under 10. Our scientist is particularly particular about this. There's certain oils he refuses to use for children under 10. And of course, there's the adult formula as well. The children one, of course, is also safe for pets. Of course, they're typically, as you'd imagine, no toxins. They're all plant-based, the entire thing, no phthalates, no parabens, no palm oil. There's no synthetic fragrances whatsoever. So what it does is it's actually it attracts and traps formulas out of the air, stuff out of the air, and it dumps them. So what you'll find, it negatively charges them and gets them out of the air. It may well fall on the floor, but often when you're looking through a room and the sun might be coming through the window, often you'll see particles in the air, and they're just the ones you can see. That's not all the ones, like smoke, for example. At the moment, smoke is very prevalent in Queensland. We've had many, many years of firestorms throughout Australia, and I've got to tell you, these little babies are incredible because they're very portable, they're very affordable, and they're very inexpensive to run, and you can run them all night and all day. So they're very, very safe. They have a safety switch, so if they get knocked over, that's fine. They just basically turn off. And if it runs out of water, it just keeps spinning. It doesn't do anything, but it keeps spinning. So unlike a diffuser where you actually, where often they've got a timer where you're pumping things into the air, this is actually designed to get things out of the air. And what it does, as Chris was saying earlier, it leaves that beautiful spiritual impact of essential oils behind with it. These oils in particular, the ones I'm looking at, the sleep formulas, are particularly, we couldn't actually say anxiety, but they're particularly good for people who struggle with anxiety, who have trouble turning their mind off. So for example, this particular unit here is very good for helping to cocoon the mind. So I'll just talk, if I may, Michelle, about what happens with sleep. One of the things that children need to do, and certainly adults, often they're the ones who are way worse than the children, is they have to establish sleep habits and rituals. And one of those is the sense of smell. So it takes about 3 to 6 months for you to actually, for your body to recognize what's called your sleep smell or your sleep fragrance. So what I would do at home is basically pop that into a small little spray bottle as well. You can just mix it up with a bit of water. Because it's got the emulsifier, it actually mixes quite easily with water as well. And then spray it onto your pillow. And for those of you who are science nuts as well, one of the things about smell, the sense of smell, it's the only one of the 5 senses that's directly connected to the part of the brain which is memory and emotion. So, as I said, it takes about 3 to 6 months. This is not something where you're just going to put it in the room and you're going to fall asleep just like that. It's about your mind basically starting to recognize, oh, I'm walking into my bedroom, I can smell my sleep smell. My mind then switches on and basically starts to realize that it's time to actually turn that orexin down and that wake up hormone down and start to go into that sleep mode. Again, the white noise of this machine will actually start to cocoon. Really good for people who have trouble turning their minds off. I mean, hands up those of you who have that trouble. Boy, you know, most women do have that problem. You and I have discussed that before, Michelle.
Yes.
So that turning your mind off, you'll find that cocooning effect. It's a bit like a train. And as I said, it's below the recommended decibel levels for babies in particular. This particular solutions are incredibly safe for children of any age and of course adults as well. In fact, my father-in-law, mother-in-law were in a nursing home, and we had two of them in their room because it was very stuffy. It's often really good for situations where you can't open the doors and windows. Often really good for, well, I've actually got one in my laundry because I have a cat as well. So I run it in my laundry just when I've got people coming over, because sometimes even when you clean the tray out, it sometimes becomes quite smelly. It's a fantastic machine to actually just get rid of odor. It's a pure odor control product. So rather than just absorb masking smells, it actually completely, what they call, adsorbs them as well. So it completely destroys any sort of odor in the air. Seafood, for example, if you're cooking salmon or fish on the counter, curry. Now let me talk quickly about anybody with allergies as well. With allergies, often you'll find people who have asthma in particular, they are often triggered by strong odor. Curries cooking, for example, it might be onions, it might be anything like that. That's why you've got to be particularly careful with essential oils as well. We have two of them running in our bedroom at night because my husband's allergic to the world. So we run them. They use less power than a 13-watt light globe, so they're very, very economical to run. So I shut the doors and windows and then leave it for about 2 or 3 hours. I actually don't like the noise. It drives me, I don't like noise at all. But my husband, when he's really sick, as I said, he struggles with asthma and allergies often. At the moment in Melbourne, we've got plane trees in our garden and our park at the front. So often, for those of you who know what Melbourne's like, you'll see those plane trees are very, very allergic at this time of the year. So really, it's incredibly effective. So you will find that it clears the air. It basically attracts and traps stuff out of the air and gets them by negatively charging them and gets them out of the air.
Yeah.
You might find it's dusty around the unit itself, but you will find they'll dump to the floor. It just gets stuff out of the air rather than just floating around, landing on really, really surfaces.